right, guys. So we're going to be working on the third paragraph, which is our counter argument. Okay. So the counter argument is whatever the other side of your claim is. Okay. It's the opposing view. Okay. So whatever your claim is, it's the opposing view to whatever you're saying. Okay. So it's the push against your argument. Okay. So if you're on the negative side of social media, we're now going to take a look at the positive side of social media through our counter argument. If we're on the positive side of social media in our claim, we're going to now take a look at the negative side of the argument, okay? Because we know there's both, because social media is a very divisive topic, okay? So in our counter argument, we have to address the other side. When I remember when we talked about the beginning, I said that a good argument addresses the other side. We want to take the wind out of their sails. So we want to think about a problem or a different conclusion someone could draw from your facts. Okay. So we know if you're on the positive side, the negative is the cyberbullying, the mental health issues, the compare culture, the cancel culture, all that falls on the negative side. Okay. If you're on the negative side, you know the positive argument. Okay. Being able to stay connected with people across the globe, the awareness of all sorts of things that happen. Okay. All those things would fall onto the positive. So we know the opposite sides, and we want to address them, but we want to counteract them as well. Okay. A disadvantage or drawback of your argument. Okay. So maybe you're arguing maybe there's no parental controls at all. Okay. But you got to address the drawback to that, because there are kids, teens that need to have parental controls. They need to have their parents involved with what's going on, because it could the bad could run rampant without any kind of parental control or no age restrictions. There are negatives to having kids. There being absolutely no age restriction, and anybody and everybody can be on there. There are drawbacks to that. Okay. So you have to acknowledge that even if you're advocating for one of those, that there's a drawback to it. Okay. An alternate explanation that might make more sense. So you want to introduce your counter argument with the saying like, one could argue that, or it might seem. Okay. So when you're starting that paragraph, this is how you could introduce it. We're going to look at some more ways you could introduce it as well. Okay. You want to refute, rebuttal, turn the argument back to your own. Okay. So don't just dismiss the other side. You have to acknowledge that the other side's complaints are legitimate and they are a real concern. If you try to dismiss it, then you're not truly understanding your topic, and you're going to lose your argument essentially. Okay. So you want to refute the counter argument by saying why it is a mistake or not a real problem. Okay. Why it's hyped up a little bit more than what maybe there is more concern than needs to be. Okay. Or maybe how it's valid but less important or less likely than what you are proposing. Okay. Be sure your reasoning is thoughtful and it's careful. You want to use those conjunctions, those fanboys, but yet, however, nevertheless, we're still that yes, this is a thing, but it's not as important, or it's not as valid, or it's not as significant. Yada yada yada. Okay. So apply the evidence for your rebuttal. You have to go back into those articles and you have to provide evidence that supports what you're saying. Okay. So if you think that there should be less parental controls, you're gonna have to find something out of those articles that's gonna validate that. So that's addressing the counter argument. Here's some topic sentences. I'm not gonna go through each one of these. But as you're going back into your graphic organizer after this, here's some great starters for the paragraph. Okay. Here's some great starters just within when you're starting to cite your evidence out of the articles. This would be a good thing for you to look at. Okay. So this is the end of the slide. So you're going to move on to the next slide. I want you to put your claim down and I want you to put your counter argument. Okay. And then after you do that, submit this. And then you're going to go to your graphic organizer. Work on your counter argument, body paragraph 3. If you've not done the rest of it that I've told you to do, okay, you don't have to worry about the conclusion and the intro just yet. But if you have not filled out the other body paragraphs and the claim,